Okay, so we're here to make the boomerang scarf. So I'm using Impeccable Speckle and Stripes, and this is by Loops and Threads. There's 160 yards in this scheme, and I'm going to be using 4 of them for this project. And it states to use a 5 millimeter hook, so I'm going to use a 5 millimeter hook. You can use whatever kind of yarn you use. You can use whatever the suggested hook size is. And the color of this is royalty. Royalty. And this is a medium 4 worsted weight yarn. Yeah. So let's get right into it. I think this color will kind of work up nice. Now, I believe this project, in my opinion, is really, really great with the color changing yarn. So if you have color changing yarn, I think this is a great project to work and use that color changing yarn up. It's nice to see how it works up. Now, we're going to begin with chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So we're not going to work in the first 2 chains from our hook, but into the first one that we did, we're going to yarn over and we're going to put 2 half doubles there. So that's 1 and 2. The chain 2 that we skipped is going to act as a half double. So we have 3 half doubles in row 1. All right, we will always chain 2 after a row and turn our work. So this is a 1 row repeat. It just flip flops around. So you'll see what I mean. We're going to yarn over, and until that first stitch, we want to place 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3, all in the first stitch. Now we have 2 more stitches in the second row, and we're going to decrease over these 2. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into the next stitch, grab our yarn and pull up. Go immediately into that chain 2, which works as our last half double. Grab our yarn and pull up. We have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to take off all 4. Okay, so we increased 3 stitches in our first stitch, and our last 2 stitches we decreased, and it's going to be that way for the rest of the pattern. So we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now this end, we know we must decrease where we decrease, so all the way up we'll decrease on this side where we have our decreases, and we will always increase where we have our increases, but in that first stitch. Okay, so they're going this way, it's the last stitch. So we want to decrease right here because this is where our decreases is. So we'll grab our yarn, come up, go immediately into the next one, grab our yarn and pull up. We have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to take off all 4. And then we're just going to place half doubles until we get to the very last stitch, which is right here. So we want to go inside there, and we want to place 3 half doubles. 2 and 3. So we're going to chain 2, turn our work. Now we've increased 3 here, so we want to begin over here with 3 increases. So we're going to put 3 half doubles into this side. 2 and 3. So all of that in the first stitch, and then we'll place half doubles in every stitch until we get to the last 2 stitches. And now that we're at the last 2 stitches, we want to decrease. So we'll go in, grab our yarn, pull up, go immediately into the last stitch and pull up. We have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to take off all 4. So now we want to chain 2 and turn our work. We just got finished decreasing. We only decrease on this end, so we're going to go in and decrease. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go into that first stitch, grab our yarn, pull up, go immediately into the next stitch, grab our yarn, pull up, 4 loops on our hook. We're going to take off all 4. And now we'll just place our half doubles, 1 in every stitch, until we get to the last one. So this is the last stitch. We're going to go in and we're going to put 3 half doubles into the last stitch. We're going to chain 2 and turn our work. So this is the side where all of our increases go. So we're going to increase and place 3 half doubles into that first stitch. And then we want to place a half double in every stitch until we get to the last 2. Okay, we have our last 2 stitches, so we'll place a decrease, yarn over, go into the stitch and pull up, and then go into the last stitch, grab our yarn and pull up. We have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and take off all 4. We're going to chain 2, turn our work, and this is where we decrease. So we're going to yarn over, go inside the first stitch, grab our yarn, pull up, go into the next stitch, grab our yarn, pull up, 4 loops on our hook. We're going to take off all 4, and we're going to half double until we get to the last stitch. The last stitch is where we increase. So we're going to go inside that last stitch and place 3 half doubles. Chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work. Now as you can see, it's starting to boomerang. And this is a really fun pattern. Just remember, this side, wherever you have your 3 increases, you will always have your 3 increases. Wherever you have your 2 decreases, you will always have your 2 decrease. Wherever you have your decreases is where you will continue to decrease. So we begin here with an increase. 1, 2, and 3, and we'll go all the way down until we get to the last 2 stitches. So as you see, it's a 1 row repeat. It just flip-flops as you turn your work, which side you're starting with. Are you starting with a decrease or are you starting with an increase? So we're at the last 2 stitches. Yarn over. We're going to go into the first one, go into the second one, 4 loops on our hook. We're going to take off all 4, chain 2, turn our work, and we just did a decrease, so we have to decrease again. Yarn over, go inside the first stitch and pull up, go inside the second stitch and pull up, and take off all 3. And then we're just going to go all the way down with our half doubles until we get to our last stitch. Okay, so we're at our last stitch right here. So I'm going to go inside and put 3 half doubles. Chain 2 and turn our work. So as you can see, 1 row repeat, just whatever side you have your increases never changes. When you increase, you will always increase in this area 3, and you will always decrease at this end, okay? No matter which way you're going, it's just a 1 row repeat that flip flops which way you start. Okay, so that is it, and you're going to work this out as long as you want it to be. If you want a scarf, you're going to make it as big as you want your scarf to be, and for a shawl you're just going to put more on it. So I'm going to keep working this out until I get all 4 of these balls worked in. Decrease, go in, pull up. Now come in and show you how the finished product works. Okay, everybody, so I have finished my boomerang scarf. This is where I started, and we worked up to here, and then I kept on going, and it kept boomeranging. As you see how it goes, just want you to see it all the way out. And so we got to right here is where I ended it off. I really enjoyed making this one, and this is a solid piece. I do have a video where I made it a little bit light and more airy, and I put in a row of chain 1s on every other row. So check that video out for a lighter version of this one. But this was absolutely fun. I would probably make it bigger if I had some more of this color, but this works out really, really well. And you can just keep going as long as you want it to be. So if you want yours longer, you just keep adding on until it's the desired length. So as always, you guys, I had fun with this tutorial, and thank you for coming to the corner.